Hello all. Today I am here with you to give you few about a summary and the important questions of the chapter A Letter to God. A Letter to God is one of the portion which is there in First Flight of grade 10 CBSE textbook. As it is a new textbook, I am sure this video is going to help the students as well as the teachers. So now initial part will be moving on to the summary of the chapter, and then I will be discussing about the important questions. Moving on. A Letter to God is a story written by G.L. Fuentes. G.L. Fuentes was just a normal man, and you can find as he is a normal man, in this story he has not used much of important or new words. He has not used. It's a very simple story, so that what he thought was it would be readable for everyone. So now we'll move on to the chapter. Moving on to the chapter, let's be introduced to the main character or protagonist of the story. So the main character is Lencho. Lencho is the main character, and he is a farmer. He is a normal farmer who just works what he wants for his daily basis. Okay, he is a farmer and he is a very hard-working man. So for character sketches come, we can very clearly explain about him that he is a farmer and he is a hard-working man. And Lencho was a normal person who just had the basic education. He just knew how to read and write, that's it. But he didn't have a proper qualification. So he was a farmer and he was a very hard-working person. So one day, this farming and everything is dependent on the weather. So one day he did his planting, the crops, everything, and he was waiting for the rain. He was praying to God for the rain. And as you can know one more thing about Lencho. Lencho is a very religious person. He prays. He's a prayerful person. He always thinks whatever happens in his life, it's only because of the decision of God. So what happened was, one day he prayed a lot for a good weather and for rain. But at that point of time, initially it was a drizzling, but then it resulted to the hailstorm. And because of the hailstorm, what happened? The whole crops was completely destroyed. What do you mean by hailstorm? Hailstorm is basically regarding those, you might have seen those small ice balls, ice particles. It's a slight difference from ice pellets, those ice balls. So it fell on the crops and the whole crops were destroyed. There's one particular line in the chapter where he says, if the crops were eaten by the locust, those insects, the crop, something would have been left. But this time, as it was the hailstorm, what happened? The whole crops were destroyed. He really didn't know what to do. His whole family was there. He thought the whole year would be a total failure. He thought a lot. As he was a very prayerful person, he thought he would write a letter to God. So what he did was, he took the envelope and he started writing the letter to the Lord. When he started writing the letter to God, he very clearly mentioned that he wanted 100 pesos. Pesos is actually the currency of Mexico. So he asked God, he wanted 100 pesos. It was just like commanding. So he asked God for 100 pesos. He didn't know what to write in the address, so he just wrote to God. And it was sent. Then what happened? The attendant saw the letter and he felt like laughing, and he laughed loudly. And he gave the letter to the Postmaster. Postmaster is another character in the story A Letter to God. So what the Postmaster thought, even initially when he laughed, but then he thought, what kind of faith does he have? His faith is something which cannot be destroyed by anyone. So what did the Postmaster do? Postmaster put aside a small amount from his own salary. And then he asked his colleagues to put in a little more amount. On altogether, he got a sum of 70 pesos. So what he did was, he put inside the envelope the 70 pesos, whatever he had, and then he just wrote the name. And after the money, what did he write? He just wrote God. As if just he thought, let Lencho think that the money was given by God. The very next day, Lencho came in because he had that strong faith in God. And he thought that he was very sure he would get the money. The next day, he came back, he opened the envelope, he just saw 70 pesos. At that time also, he did not doubt God. He told God, what he thought was, what can be the reason why he got only 70 pesos? The problem might not be with the God, but the problem might be with the post office people. So he thought he would write a second letter. So what did he do? He wrote another letter. So in the another letter, he said one thing, God, I need the rest of the money. You gave me only 70 pesos. I asked you for 100 pesos. So ensure that you give me the 30 pesos. He also told one thing, next time don't send it to the post office. Not to send through post office. Why? Because the people in the post office were a bunch of crooks. What are my crooks? Who are not truthful enough. What Lencho thought was, the God might have given 100 pesos, but the 30 pesos was taken by the post office people. So that was the second letter. We might not know what can be the reaction of the post office master when he saw this whole thing. But this is what he wrote in the second letter. But in this chapter, throughout, you can speak about the firm faith what Lencho had towards God. And he was a very, very hard-working man. Because after he understood that the crops was completely destroyed, he didn't stay there. He was still trying to hard work. He was trying to take away all the waste and everything, and he was just making it in the proper thing. So he was a very hardworking person, you can say, and also he was a farmer. He was a hardworking person, and also one more thing is he had strong, or you can use the word ardent faith in God. So this is actually the summary of the chapter, a letter to God. I hope you understood. Now we'll move on to the important questions in the chapter. Okay, so now we can go through the important questions in the chapter. Okay, these are few important questions which I've written down. We'll just go through it. First one, what did Lencho hope for? As a farmer, what did he hope for? He hoped for the rain. Because for the farmers, it's the weather who determines regarding the crops. So what did Lencho hope for? Lencho hoped for rain or a better weather. Now the next question. What happened to Lencho's fields? What happened to Lencho's fields? He wanted the rain and he prayed for the rain. But what happened? It was a huge hailstorm, and due to hailstorm, what happened? The whole fields were destroyed. Okay, so that's the answer for second one. What happened in Lencho's fields? The whole crops were destroyed. Now moving on to the next question. What made Lencho angry? What made Lencho angry? Lencho was angry because he asked God for 100 pesos. And what did he receive? He received only 70 pesos. He asked for 100 pesos. Okay, I hope you remember what do you mean by pesos. Peso is the currency used in Mexico. So he asked for 100 pesos and he received only 70 pesos. That was the reason why he was very, very angry. And he didn't tell that it's because of God, but he told that the reason behind that the 30 pesos might be taken up by the post office people. That was the reason why Lencho was angry. Now, moving on to the last question. Why does the postmaster send money to Lencho? Now, why did postmaster send money to Lencho? He was totally shocked by seeing his ardent faith. Okay, seeing his ardent faith to God, postmaster thought of sending money to Lencho. So why did he think? Because he was so amused by the Lencho's faith towards God. Now there was also one more question which I did not include, can also be a part of the last question. Okay, the question is this: why did the postmaster sign the name of God, and why didn't he write postmaster? Okay, that's a quite relevant question. Why did he write God and not postmaster's name as a signature? The reason is he was so amused by his faith towards God, so he didn't want to shake his beliefs, shake his faith. So he wanted to ensure that Lencho's faith remains like that. So because of that, he signed as God and not postmaster. Okay, so these were the important questions from the chapter A Letter to God. I hope this video was very useful for you. Please subscribe my video and like my video and share to your friends or colleagues, so it will be useful for them. From my next videos, I'll be going through few chapters from grade 9, 10 and 11 and 12 of English CBSE. I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you and have a good time.